Hi guys, and welcome to this rigging video. In this one I'll show you how to rig your first character in Blender from scratch. This video is a continuation to Intro to Rigging for Beginners. So if you haven't seen that part, make sure to check it out to learn all the basics of rigging. In this video I'll be using the skeleton knight character we made in another one of my tutorials. But you can also use any biped character if you'd like to follow along. Okay, let's get started. First, we want to make sure that our character here is positioned properly in our scene. Grab all the elements of your character and move them up with G like this. You want the legs of your character to be where the world origin is. Before you start rigging, you also want to make sure that you don't have any location, rotation or scale values on your mesh. So in here, you want to have everything zeroed out and you want all of your scale to be set to 1. To do that, you can select all of your meshes and then press Ctrl A. After that, choose All Transforms. That applies all transforms to your mesh and gives us all the zeroed out values we need. Now let's start adding the bones for our rig. Press Shift A and from Armature, add a single bone. You can see now here on the right, we have an armature object added to our hierarchy. Right now you can't see the bone in our scene, but if you go into Object Data Properties, Viewport Display, and click on In Front, you can see the bone we added. That just positions it in front of your mesh. Now let's start building our skeleton from this one bone. Select the bone object and press Tab to go into Edit mode. Then grab the end here and move it down with G and Z. This bone will be the hip. What we want to do now is to extrude this bone to make a chain for the spine. Select the top of the bone and press E to extrude it. That makes a connected bone which is attached to the hip bone. This new bone is the spine 1 bone. With its top selected, press E to extrude again. This will be our chest bone. Now at this point, if your character has a neck, you want to extrude an additional neck bone and only then extrude a head bone. Because the skeleton character I'm using doesn't have a neck, I'll not be extruding a neck bone. And instead, I'll directly make the head bone. But in your case, if you have a neck, just extrude an extra bone here. Okay, to extrude the head bone, I press E. Then I move the bone end all the way to the top of the head. All done with the main body chain. Now we want to add separate chains for the arms and legs. We'll connect these to the body with a keep offset relationship later on. Let's make a chain for the arms first. While in edit mode still, press Shift A. That adds another bone down here. Move the bone up with G and place it on the shoulder area of your character. This will be the shoulder joint. Grab the end of the bone and press E to extrude it again. Move that new bone end to the elbow of the character. This will be the upper arm joint. After that, press E and extrude again. This will be the lower arm joint. I bring mine all the way to the end of the arm. What I want to pay close attention to here is that the rig that I'm making for the specific character will not have a dedicated hand bone. This is because I don't want the metal part of the glove to be bending. For a standard character, however, you do want to include another extra bone for the hand. So you would have the upper arm, lower arm, and then you would have a hand bone. To this hand bone, you connect the fingers. So once again, in my case, I'm just skipping the hand bone, which isn't something you need to do if you're just rigging a standard character. I hope this also shows you that you can adjust your skeleton depending on your needs. If you don't need certain bones, you can just not add them, or if you need extra ones, because for example the anatomy of your character, you can also add more as well. And for reference, this is what a typical character skeleton looks like. These are the bones a standard biped has, and you can follow the structure of this for most of your models. Okay, next let's add some finger bones to our character. Press Shift A to add a new bone. Grab it from down here and position it where one of the fingers is with G. Make sure the bone is in the middle of the finger and it isn't floating off. After you're happy with the positioning, select the finger bone and press Shift D to duplicate it. Place it inside the other finger. Once you're done, select this bone again, press Shift D to duplicate it. Place it inside the finger and continue doing that for all the fingers of your hand. Now you want to shift select all of the finger bones. We're going to subdivide these so we get the correct amount of finger joints for each finger. With the bone selected, right click and choose subdivide. In this box here, type in 2. That makes 2 cuts and gives you 3 separate bones. Now we want to name all of our bones. It's very important here that you name all of the arm bones, their name, and then .L for left. We want to name them like this because we want to mirror the arm bones over to the other side. If they're named correctly, that tells Blender that these bones are on the left side and that they need to be mirrored over to the right side. Without the proper naming, it won't work. To quickly rename a bone, select it and then press F2. That brings up a little box where you can name the selected bone. Here I'm just naming each finger bone and putting the .L at the end of the names. I do the same for the arm bones as well. Next, let's make a separate chain for the legs. Press Shift A to add a bone. Grab this bone with G and move it down here. You want the end of the bone, which is the thinner part, to be facing down towards the knee. This will be our upper leg bone. Once you have that in place, select the bone and press E to extrude it. Move this bone end all the way to the bottom of the heel. This is the lower leg bone. After that, press E and then press Y to extrude the bone in the Y axis. This is the foot bone. Here you could extrude one more time for the toes, but in this case my character has such small feet that the toe bone is unnecessary. In a standard rig, however, this is what your foot bone should look like. Now you want to name all your leg bones. Press F2 to rename them. Remember to put .L at the end of each name so you can easily mirror the bones later. Next, we want to set up the relationship between our bones. For more information on how each type of bone relationship works in Blender, watch my Intro to Rigging video. If we press Tab and go into pose mode now, you can see when we move the spine chain, it moves independently from the arm and leg. What we want instead is to have the arm and leg connected to the spine so I can move with it. In order to do that, we need to set up the relationship between the bone chains. Okay, let's do that now. Press Tab and go back into edit mode. Select the shoulder bone first and then shift select the chest bone second. After that, press Ctrl P and choose Keep Offset. That connects the arm to the chest bone, so now every time the chest bone moves, the arm will move with it. Next, let's connect the leg chain. In edit mode, select the upper leg bone first, and then select the hip bone second. Press Ctrl P and choose Keep Offset. Now when we press Tab and go into pose mode, both chains are connected to the spine chain and move together with it. Pose mode is where you animate your character and where we can test the deformation when we connect the mesh to the skeleton later on. Next, we want to connect the fingers to the arm bone. If you added a hand bone to your rig, you connect the fingers to the hand bone instead. In my case, I'm just connecting them to the arm. In edit mode, shift select all of the bones at the base of the fingers. After that, shift select the arm or hand second. Press Ctrl P and choose Keep Offset. Nice, now the fingers are also connected. Next, we want to mirror the arm and leg chains from the left side to the right side. If you've named your bones correctly, that's super easy to do. Just select the arm and leg bones in Edit mode, then go to Armature, Symmetrize. Blender automatically mirrors the bone chains in their relationships and even renames all the bones to .R instead of .L. This is a great way to speed up your rig building. Next, let's add some bones for the little cloth at the front. Press Shift A to add a new bone. Position it where the cloth is like this. Then select the bone end and press E to extrude it. Now, while still in edit mode, select the top cloth bone and then shift select the hips. Press Ctrl P and choose Keep Offset. This parents the cloth bones to the body, and every time the hips move now, the cloth will as well. Because it's a keep offset relationship, they can still be moved independently.